So I'd like to share with you my top 6 daily habits for a healthier body. Tip number 1 is up our NEAT. Our NEAT is our non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically all this means is the things that you're doing every day that's not exercise or sleep related. So this could just be moving about, taking the stairs instead of the lift, walking to work instead of driving to work, mowing the lawn, and trying to be as active as possible. Tip number 2, we're looking to get between 8 to 10,000 steps on minimum per day. So if you've got something like a fitness tracker or a tracker that you can download on your phone, we want to be tracking our daily steps, and we're looking for between 8 to 10,000 minimum steps per day. Tip number 3 is to stretch daily. We spend most of our time in a seated position, so when we're at work, when we're at home, we're watching the TV, we're sitting down for meals, we're always in this type of position. So we get weak lower back, we get weak glutes, and we also get tight hip flexors. So we want to be spending 10 to 15 minutes per day on stretching these muscles, and today I'm going to show you how to do these stretches as well. Tip number 4 is to drink more water. We should be aiming for at least 1 litre of water per 25 kilograms of body weight. So on average, females should be having between 2 to 3 litres of water per day, and males should be having 3 to 4 litres of water per day. This can obviously depend on climate, it can depend on how much exercise you're doing as well. So if you are exercising, you should be having roughly another half a litre for every half an hour of exercise that you do. Tip number 5 is to get a good quality 8 hours sleep per night. Try and switch off your electronic devices, things like your mobile phones, the laptops, so our mind is nice and relaxed, ready for sleep. Also, another good tip is to make sure your room is as dark as possible. So even things like blackout blinds, turn your phone off so you haven't got your bleeps and the noises going through the phone. Tip number 6, you time every day. So spend time working on yourself every day, and just have that little bit of time where, even if it's 15-20 minutes per day, where you spend looking after yourself. This can be things like meditating, it can be going for a walk, reading a book, listening to some of your favourite music, but try and make sure you have you time every day. We're going to move on to our movement and mobility session. This is going to be a low intensity session that is suitable for most levels. Obviously just check with your GP before you start any new exercise regime. So feet hip to shoulder width, drop, touch the toes, drop as low as we can, lift the chest, bring the arm back, squeeze, squeeze, and then stand up. Let's keep them going. So we're really working here on stretching the hamstrings, getting range of movement into the legs. We're also working the upper back, the shoulders. Another couple of reps. And relax. From there, our next exercise, we're going to start feet together, so easier version, hands together. We're going to take it out to the side, bring it back, out to the side, bring it back. Harder version is we're going to jump out and jump back. Let's get ready in position. So feet together, hands in line with the mid-chest, out and then back. So remember, go to the level that's going to be suitable for yourselves. So this is the easier version, and the harder version is jumping out, jumping back. So you should feel your heart rate coming up as well on these. Keep getting the breathing. And relax. Our next exercise is a squat. We're going to go back to feet shoulder width apart, and then from there we're dropping our hips back and then standing back up. As we drop back, we want to try and get at least the upper leg parallel to the floor, and then stand back up. Deep breath on the way down, breathe out as we and relax. Just take that rest, Get some water on board if you've got some water. And then we're moving on to our next exercise. So this next exercise, we're going to go back to getting our heart rate up. So 2 variations, feet together, we bring the arms right at the back, squeeze the shoulder blades. So easy level first, we're stepping out, pushing the arms up, stepping out, push the arms up. Harder version of this one, we're going to jump out and then jump back. So go to the level that's going to challenge yourself. Let's get ready, in position, feet together, elbows back, out and then back. So we're looking at getting the heart rate up on this exercise. Get the breathe in, deep breath, breathe out as you push your arms up. We've got 20 seconds. Not that easier version, we step in, them out. Let's keep them going. And relax. So our next exercise, we're going to go into a deadlift. Standing feet, hip to shoulder width apart again, keeping our body nice and tall, hands just onto our thighs, and then from there we're going to slide down, drop our hips back, and lift back up. Drop down, and lift back up. Just at your pace. Drop down. As you lift, think about squeezing the shoulder blades, squeezing the lower back, thinking about the posture. Remember, we sat down for a lot during the day. We really want to be working on this posterior chain. Let's keep them going. So just slide those hands past the knees, nice and tall at the top. As we lift up, draw the shoulder blades back, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades. Let's keep them going. Couple more reps. And relax. Okay, so just at your pace, let's get ready. 10 reps at each side. So we step in, hands to the floor, release, follow the hand, and then push back. And then over to the other side, hands to the floor, follow the hand. Each time, we're trying to come round a little bit further. So we're trying to increase the stretch on the inner thighs, hands to the floor. We're trying to bring more range of movement as we come over to the side. And we're really working on mobility in today's session. Each time, if you can, try and come that a little bit further on each one. And then push back, use the leg to push back. Each time, try and come that a little bit further around. Follow the hand with the eyes. Once more on each side. You should really feel that on the inner thighs. And then last one, hands to the floor. Follow all the way around. And then back to center, and then we're going on to our next exercise. So this next one, we're going to start with a star jump. It's going to be feet together, hands together, easier version first. So we step in our leg out, taking our arms above the head, back to center, and the same on the opposite side. A harder version, we go from there, same position, we jump them out, we jump them back. Let's get ready in position, feet together, hands together. So go for the level, it's going to challenge yourself. and away we go. Try and get those hands to touch at the top position, hands to touch the bottom position, so we're getting a good full range of the movement. Drawing the belly button in towards the spine, so we're engaging the core muscles as well. We've got 10 seconds to go on these. 3, 2, and relax. Just take that rest, then moving on to our next exercise. Okay, so into position, back into that tabletop. So we're lifting the knee, we'll bring it round, big circle, and then we reverse, and then the opposite way. Each time trying to increase the range of movements, we're really opening the hips out. Another few more. Each time a little bit higher, a little bit more range of movement. Again, that mobility into the body. And then from there we're going to change and we're going to go the same on the opposite side. So let's get set back up, back into position. Bring the knee up, we're lifting the knee an inch. Bring it round, big circle. And then reverse, big circle the opposite way. Each time, try and increase the range of movement. So we're not letting the knee touch the floor, the knee's always an inch away. We're trying to get that knee up to the hip. We're in line with the hip. Once more each way. And relax. And then from there, same position still onto the tabletop position, onto your hands, onto your knees. We're going to take you one hand and we're going to slide it through the body. And as you slide it through, we're trying to get your head, your shoulder. We're trying to touch the floor with the ear and just hold in that position. And then back to center, and this time on the opposite side, so we're taking the hand, we're feeding the hand through the body, trying to get the shoulder, the ear to touch the floor. Hold that position. And then back, and then we're going to repeat that pattern. So nice control, we're not racing through them. We're feeling the stretch. Just at your pace. Once more on each. And then same position, it's coming up onto one leg, and from there, hands to the side, we're keeping our body tall, we drop, so our hands touch the floor, and then as we lift, it's not just the arms, we're lifting the body, we're squeezing the shoulder blade, squeezing the lower back, and then drop. So nice deep breath, lift, squeeze, so we're really working on your posture, we're working on opening the body out. So think about all those muscles that are inactive through the day when we're in that seated position. We're really working on the posterior chain, we're working into the hips. And as we do this, think really about pushing forward here. So we're really stretching into the hip flexor as well. Let's keep them going. Touch, little squeeze, deep breath. And as we lift, we're squeezing the lower back, we're also squeezing the shoulder blades. So we're working the lower back, we're working the upper back of the shoulders, we're getting the range in the arms, and we're also stretching here into the hip flexors. Another couple more, deep breath. Breathe out. And last one. And then we're going to go the same on the opposite side. So onto the opposite leg, get set up first, we're pushing the hip forward slightly, so we're switching on the hip flexor. From there, we drop. So I'm not leaning forward, so I'm keeping my body tall, the chest is staying lifted. I'll drop at either side of the foot. Come all the way up again, follow the fingertips, squeeze the lower back, squeeze the shoulder blades. Deep breath. Breathe out to the top. Really working on that mobility, range of movement. Just at your pace, deep breath. Relax. So our next exercise is going to be a plank knee stretch. So we're going to go hands directly under the shoulders. We're going to come up onto our toes, and then from there, nice straight line. So we don't want to have our hips too high or too low. Nice straight position. And then we're going to bring our foot. We're trying to get our foot as close to the hand as we can. So we're really stretching into this hip complex, into the hip area. Hold, and then we're bringing it back, and then we're going to go the same on the opposite side. So let's get ready, let's get set up, let's get in position. Hands under those shoulders, nice straight position. So if you can't get your foot to your hand, just get it to where you can. Hold the position, and then bring it back, and then hold, and then bring it back. Let's keep them going, your pace, your level. Each time, try and go a little bit further with the foot. So if we can get the foot past the hand, get the foot past the hand. So really opening this whole hip area. It's going to be tight through lots of sitting through the day. And relax. So our next exercise, we're going to go into a back extension. So this one we're going to go hands directly under our mid-chest. And then from there, I'm lifting up. I'm looking to the one side, back to center, looking to the other side, so really opening the muscles in the neck. And then I'm going to sit right the way back, and I'm sitting back as far as I can, getting a nice good stretch, and then repeating that pattern. So let's get in position, let's get set up, hands under the mid-chest. So we lift, we look to the side, back to center, we look to the side, back to center, and then from there sit right the way back. Get a nice good stretch. So we're aiming to get as back as far as we can, and then just spread and point the fingers. So we're stretching out, and then back through that sequence. So we lift, we look, try and look over the shoulder. So you stretch the muscles in the neck, back to center, over to the opposite side, back to center, and then sit right the way back. Just have that little wiggle, just stretch anywhere that feels tight. Stretch the arms, and again repeat that pattern. So we're not racing through them, just at your pace. Think about getting the mobility and the range into the body. Really sit back, get that nice good stretch, point the fingertips. Let's keep them going. So each time think about trying to lift that a little bit higher. Try and increase the range of movement through the neck. Try and sit back a little bit further. Try and point those fingers a little bit more. Really get that nice good stretch. over the shoulder, back to center, look over the shoulder, back to center, sit right the way back. Nice good stretch, point those fingertips, and relax. So our next round, we're going to go into knee hugs and rotations. So this one, we're going to lie down onto our backs, and we want our legs at a right angle, and then from there, just grabbing hold of the knees. All we're doing is we're pulling our knees in towards our body, and then bring them back out again. So you should feel a stretch in the lower back. On these, if you can, just lift the chin as well, just hold, and then bring it back. If you need to, just wiggle the body about a little bit, anywhere that feels tight. It's all about just stretching the body out on these. Let's keep them going. So come in, just hold, just wiggle that body about a little bit, anywhere that feels tight, and then just relax it each time. Just try and increase the stretch. So legs at a right angle, and then from there I'm taking the legs over, trying to touch the floor, really stretching the lower back, keeping the hand and the arm to the floor, bringing it back to center, and then slow and controlled, so I'm not racing through them, over to the opposite side. I'm trying to keep the knees and the feet together as well. Over, touch, back to center, over, touch, back to center. Let's keep them going. The legs at that right angle, right the way over, feel that stretch. Nice controlled movement, get the core to do the work. Try and increase the range of movement. So everything today is all about the range of movement and just opening these muscles and areas of the body. So everything today is just about that range of movement, getting flexibility and mobility into our bodies. Another couple more each side. Once more on each, try and keep the feet and the knees close together as you can. And then last one. And then we're going to repeat those two exercises. We're going to go back in to those knee hugs, just bringing those knees right the way in. This time, if you can, try and increase that stretch. You should feel a nice little stretch in that lower back, and just move the body about a little bit, anywhere that feels tight, just stretching it out. Let's keep them going. And then our last one, just really stretching the front of our legs out. So we're going to go into a split stance here. And then I'm not leaning my body forward, so I'm not arching from the back. All I'm doing is I'm pushing the hip forward, and you should feel a little bit of a stretch here in the front of the legs. You may also feel it a little bit further down. We're just going to hold that position. We're just stretching this muscle. So this is another area that's going to be quite tight from sitting down a lot during the day. And these kind of exercises, what I've been working on today, these are all going to help if you get things like knee problems, back problems, hip problems. These are exercises that a lot of people will suffer with. Tight hips, weak lower back, knees, ankles, even into the feet. And a lot of times it's just that we haven't got the mobility into our body. So doing these exercises a couple of times a week, try and do them daily, it's going to help with that mobility and flexibility as well. Just going to stretch onto the other side. Just turn in into that split stance. We're pushing the knee forward. Just feel that stretch. Just hold that position. So everything's about making you feel more fitter, healthier, stronger, but also more mobile with everyday life. Hold that position. And relax. Thank you for watching today's show. Please obviously see a GP before taking on any new physical activity regime.